Really? Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I was just Googling what to do when an incumbent authoritarian government refuses to acknowledge the results of a fair and free and democratic election while a country is struggling with racial injustice, civil unrest, an unprecedented financial crisis, and a global, viral pandemic. It's fine. It's fine. There's obviously a lot going on in the world right now. I'm not here to talk to you about any of that. My name's Rich Robinson. I'm a principal product designer here at Zonar, and what I am here to talk to you about is my incredibly nerdy hobby, which is painting miniatures for tabletop role-playing games. Painting minis is actually one of the more relaxing things that I've found that I can actually do with my brain. And given the state of the world right now, having an activity that is both relaxing and a distraction is incredibly important. If this sounds like something that you'd be interested in trying, I can give you a couple tips on what you need to get started. The first is paint. I primarily use this brand. It's called Army Painter. It's middle of the road in terms of quality and price. If you're really cost conscious, you don't want to invest too much in a new hobby, you can use these like super cheap craft paints that you can get at any craft store like Michael's or Joann's. Really inexpensive. They work. Just make sure you, with all paints, thin it a lot with water. The other thing that you're going to need is brushes. And if you're going to invest in anything as you get out of the gate with this, make sure you get yourself a nice set of brushes in a variety of different sizes. And the last thing that you need are minis to paint. We're going to be painting this guy here. He already has paint, yeah, because I filmed this last. I'm going to show you some of the steps that I've taken in order to get this guy painted. During quarantine, we've actually become quite close.
You're my best friend.
Oh, you're my best friend too, Goliath Barbarian. That's enough of that. Let's get started with the painting. So the first thing I like to do when I'm starting a new mini is just get a feel for it. See what's available, see what details are there that I want to cover. And here's me making sure the paint's nice and thin. And you might be wondering, like, hey, that guy had gray skin earlier, why are you painting him brown? That is because if I just painted gray directly onto a gray mini, he'd look kind of dead. That might be good for a zombie or a vampire, but that's not what I'm going for with this guy. He's very much alive and warm-blooded, and the brown underneath the gray is going to give him a little bit of warmth and life. You can see how thin the paint is. We don't want to have like really solid coverage. We want to build up multiple layers. And one good thing to note is you want to start at kind of like the lowest surface first, so skin, and then the things covering the skin, and kind of build up that way. Just want to make sure we're doing multiple coats, kind of like laminating, building up the color gradually, and not just caking stuff on. So here we're thinning out some lighter brown that we're going to use for the armor. This guy's a barbarian. He's got a lot of natural colors, leather armor, some fur. And you'll notice I'm not being particularly careful at this level, at this point. Just kind of getting the paint on there, blocking out the colors. This is just a base coat. And we're going to start adding layers of color on top of it to build out the effects that we want. And here's going to be the first coat of gray, and this is a really dark gray. And what we're doing is you want to go your darker colors first and build up lighter colors on top of that. The lighter colors are going to serve as highlights to really pop those details that are on the mini. And if you just... This is a gradual process. It takes some patience, and that's what's so relaxing about it. You're not just rushing into it. But you can see we're really dark right now. A lot of that brown is still showing through, which is what we want. It's just creating, like skin itself, you can see lots of layers through it. It's very translucent. And we're replicating that by using layers of paint. Now we're starting to get into the lighter grays on top of it. I actually originally used a gray that was too light. You'll notice on my palette there I kind of mixed the lighter gray in with the darker gray just to kind of fix the mistakes. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, and that's okay. Now we're using a much lighter gray, and we're just highlighting some of the areas where the light is going to hit. Top of his head, his knees, his calves, anything where the light's going to hit a little bit more directly, and also any areas that you really want to define. You'll also note, like, I've got him stuck onto this little handle. That's just so that I'm not handling the mini directly. It's a lot easier to paint. It also gives you something to hold on to. Doing some more highlighting. Lots and lots of layers. You'll notice this is like maybe 10 layers of paint just on his skin. It takes a fair amount of time to do that, but the results are a lot more worth it. So now we're jumping ahead, painting off some of the details on his armor. Some black leather straps. And you notice that I'm being a little bit more careful now. I don't want to have to go over and repaint those 10 layers of skin tone. And you'll also notice that while I'm painting with these really fine brushes, my hands are touching. Like, I'm trying to create an anchor point while I'm applying the paint. It cuts down on any shaking that's happening on my hands. I actually do have a little bit of a tremor. Painting the eyes now, you'll notice I'm going very slowly. The way I paint eyes, and this is the way that I paint eyes, you might find a different way to do it, and that's okay. But just a big, quote-unquote, big black spot over the eyes, and then we're going to come back over to do a slightly smaller white spot for the iris. And then just a little black pinpoint, and we'll see that in a little bit. All the metal points I'm painting black originally, and then we're going to use a metallic paint on top of that. And what that's going to do is allow us to apply some weathering effects, so it looks like maybe the metal is chipped from battle or whatnot. One tricky thing about painting minis is trying to get the little brushes inside these areas that are covered by other parts of the model. So here you can see the eyes. We've got the white spots in there. Now we're going to be applying that metallic paint. Going to be two different types. One's a slightly duller, and this one that we're applying now is a brighter one. And unfortunately, I'm painting off camera. But there we go. You can see the very shiny. And there we have it. Still a little bit of work that I want to do, but it's good enough for now. Thanks for watching.